There are games that shake the earth, games that silence the room, and then there are games that whisper into the soul of the game itself. This is one of them. Wesley So versus Garry Kasparov, Saint Louis 2016. A match not just between two generations, but between two philosophies. On one side, the thunderous power of a legend who once ruled the chess world with an iron will. On the other, a quiet storm rising from the Philippines, tempered in the flames of discipline and modern preparation. This is not just a victory, it is a symphony of ideas. Let's begin. So opens with d4, a king's pawn's quieter cousin. Kasparov replies instantly with nf6. A knight steps out like a sentry in the night. He's not challenging the center immediately. Instead, he's observing, getting ready to counter when the time is right. It's classic Garry, flexible, strategic, non-committal yet deeply aware. Now c4, Wesley's strategy becomes clearer. He's building a large center and daring Kasparov to stop him. Like a city planner expanding the roads before the buildings, Garry plays g6, signal of the king's Indian defense. He's preparing to place his bishop on the long diagonal like aiming a sniper from far away. He doesn't stop Wesley from building the center. Instead, he's setting traps from the shadows. Knight to c3, development with purpose. The knight supports the center and eyes key squares. Wesley is still in the driver's seat, but then Kasparov strikes d5. The game sharpens instantly. Instead of sticking to the passive king's Indian plan, Garry chooses the Grunfeld defense, a bold and dynamic decision. He's telling Wesley, go ahead, take the center. I'll tear it down piece by piece. Wesley captures with cx d5, opening up the position. He's trading tension for clarity, which makes sense when you're up against a tactician like Kasparov. Simpler positions can be easier to manage. Garry recaptures with nx d5, again keeping his central pawn structure clean. Why not recapture with a pawn, you ask? Because that would block his bishop and slow down his counterplay. He wants flexibility, freedom. The knight does that best. Wesley isn't afraid. He plays e4, total control of the center. It's a bold proclamation, this is my house now. Kasparov responds with nx c3. A counterpunch. He trades off his knight for the knight on c3 and in doing so damages Wesley's pawn structure. It's sacrifice of time for long-term pressure. If Kasparov had chosen instead to retreat or play other developing moves, he would have conceded space. But that's not Garry's style. He wants Wesley's pawns to be jagged, broken, weaknesses he can exploit later. Wesley calmly recaptures with bx c3. Now, this might look like he's doubling his pawns, a weakness, right? But not quite. Think of it like sacrificing beauty for function. Those double pawns now open a highway for his bishop to join the action and support his central pawns. It's ugly, but it works. Kasparov fianchettos with bg7, finally completing the setup he hinted at earlier. This bishop on the long diagonal is like a sniper lying low. Invisible now, but lethal later. It stares directly at the heart of White's center. Knight to f3, a textbook move. Development, control of the center, and kingside safety. Wesley doesn't rush. He's making sure every piece has its purpose. Then comes c5 by Kasparov, striking at the base of Wesley's center. Imagine this like Garry hammering at the roots of a tree before it grows too strong. He doesn't want Wesley to have a stable foothold. The fight is heating up. Now this is fascinating. Wesley plays rb1. Why? The b file is not open yet, but he senses the future. He knows Kasparov might push b6 soon, and the rook will already be in position. It's like moving your knight to the cliff's edge before the enemy shows up. Anticipation is everything. Kasparov castles king side. Classic, reliable. He tucks his king safely away, ready to connect the rooks. But little does he know that king side is about to be tested. be2 from Wesley, subtle and non-threatening on the surface. But now both his bishops are quietly aligned. It's like positioning your generals before the war horn blows. Kasparov plays b6 just as Wesley expected. He wants to bring his light squared bishop to b7 and gain full control of the long diagonal. He is following the Grunfeld script to the letter. But Wesley has already begun to flip the pages ahead. And Wesley castles too. Now both kings are safe. The first chapter of the game, development and structure, is complete. What follows is planning tension and war. Kasparov finishes his setup with bb7. That fianchetto bishop now stares through the board, eyeing the e4 pawn like a hawk circling its prey. This piece, if left unchecked, could decide the game. But Wesley is calm. He knows the battle isn't decided by one piece. It's how they all work together. Wesley plays qd3, a queen move that looks modest at first, but it's loaded with meaning. He's defending e4, eyeing the king side, and maybe, just maybe, preparing for a storm. Think of her like a queen in a war council, silent but soon to direct the attack. Kasparov doesn't wait, ba6. Now this is clever. The bishop jumps aggressively, attacking Wesley's queen. Garry is forcing Wesley to respond. He's trying to cut the queen's influence early, and more importantly, he's planting psychological seeds. I am not backing down. Wesley steps back to e3, no panic, no retreat, just repositioning. Now the queen covers the center, supports a future kingside push, and stays safe from Kasparov's bishop. A graceful sidestep, like a dancer dodging a blow with poise. Kasparov plays qd7, another build-up move. His queen connects the rooks and keeps an eye on b5 and c6. He's still following opening principles, but soon principles will give way to improvisation. Here it comes, h4, and Wesley throws the first punch. It's not a slow build anymore. This is the beginning of a kingside pawn storm, the type that breaks fortresses. The message is clear: I'm coming for your king. Kasparov sees the danger and counters not by defending, but by attacking elsewhere. qa4, the queen strikes deep into enemy territory, hoping to distract and divide Wesley's focus. It's like lighting a fire behind enemy lines. Now Wesley has to decide attack or defend. Wesley doesn't flinch. h5, he advances again. A man with a mission. This pawn now threatens to open lines straight to the black king. And all the while, the rest of his army is waiting to join in. It's controlled aggression, not wild, but deliberate. Kasparov, true to his nature, goes materialistic. qxa2, he snatches the pawn. It's bold, risky. A move that says, if I can survive, I will win. But the risk is real. His queen is far from the king, and the h-file is about to explode. Wesley responds with rb2. Doubling down on the b-file, he's saying, take my pawn if you must, but I will activate my rook in the process, and that's exactly what happens. Kasparov retreats to qa4, trying to stay active on the queen side. But there's a price. His queen, the most powerful piece, is far from the danger zone, and danger is coming. So now the scene is set. Wesley So with a kingside pawn storm full of fire. Kasparov poking around the queenside, far from safety. One is pushing forward with unity, the other distracted by distant battles, and only one can survive the pressure that's coming next. Wesley breaks the silence with hxg6. The pawn storm has landed. It is not a threat anymore. It's reality, like a battering ram crashing through the outer wall. He is sacrificing a pawn shell for access to Garry's king. Kasparov must recapture, and he does. hxg6, but the g-file is now wide open. The fortress once guarding the king has been pierced. There are cracks in the castle walls, and Wesley has the blueprints. Then a tactical switch, bxa6. Wesley eliminates the light squared bishop, one of Garry's most important defenders. It's like removing the general in charge of protecting the east wall. Kasparov responds with cxd4. He's not defending, he's lashing out, trying to create counterplay in the center. He knows he can't just sit back. He must distract, must deflect. It's offense as defense. Wesley recaptures with cxd4, keeping a powerful central presence. His pawns are no longer weak. They are connected, mobile, and ready to open new files. Kasparov then plays nxa6. His knight finally re-enters the frame, taking the now vacant bishop square. But this is a retreat, not an attack. His knight is away from the defense, and Wesley's momentum is growing. Wesley quietly moves his queen to e2, a modest square, but a powerful setup. From here, she eyes the center, the king's side, and most importantly, she aligns with her rooks. This is preparation, this is orchestration. Kasparov replies with nc7, repositioning his knights toward e6, perhaps to cover c5. But while he shifts pieces around, Wesley is lining up a direct assault. Now comes a small, beautiful move on a2. Wesley lifts his rook from the back line and prepares to swing it across the board. It's like a cavalry unit moving from the west side of the battlefield to the front lines. Kasparov moves his queen to qd5, keeping pressure on the queen side. But this move feels the queen is still from the king. She's on the wrong side of history, and Wesley knows it. Wesley now places his queen on e3. Why here? She aligns with the rook on a2 and eyes the central files. It's a quiet build-up, like loading tension into a bowstring. You don't see the shot yet, but it's coming. Kasparov responds with qc4, inviting a queen trade. On the surface, it looks like an equal exchange, but Garry's deeper motive. He wants to simplify. He wants to breathe. He wants to reduce the attacking pressure Wesley is wrapping around him like a net. Wesley refuses, plays rd2. He avoids the queen trade, doubles rooks on the d-file, and centralizes his forces. Now, both rooks control the central highway. It's like moving artillery into a choke point. Any piece that crosses now gets blasted. Kasparov plays rfd8. He sees the danger and tries to match the central control. But he's behind. It's like trying to lock the door after the storm has already entered the house. And then a poetic move, ba3. Wesley places his bishop on the perfect square. It stares down Kasparov's rook. It seals the c5 square. It also clears the c1 square for Wesley's final touch. It's control, elegance, domination, all at once. Kasparov, in desperation, plays nb5, maybe to block, maybe to reroute. But truth, it's a knight lost in the fog. It's not defending anything meaningful anymore. Wesley's grip tightens. Wesley shifts bishop back to b2, still slicing across the board, still controlling the long diagonal. That bishop is now a wall, a laser, and a bodyguard all at once. Kasparov plays rac8. finally trying to place his rook into an open file, but it's too late. Everything's coordinated for Wesley, and Garry's pieces are arriving in pieces. RFD1. The rooks are stacked, total control of the D file. This is what modern chess mastery looks like. Coordination, calmness, and control. Wesley owns the center. His pieces are singing in harmony. Kasparov plays NC3. A last gasp, the knight tries to disrupt Wesley's plans. But here comes the final stroke. Wesley plays RC1. And that's it. The rooks dominate the center and the C file. The bishop cuts diagonals. The queen is and Garry, one of the greatest of all time, has no move left to save the game. He resigns. The board is full of pieces, yet only one side commands the battlefield. Wesley So did not just beat Garry Kasparov that day. He composed a symphony of control, timing, and intuition, a modern masterpiece carved into 64 squares. And when the dust settled, Garry extended his hand. The torch passed not with fireworks, but with quiet brilliance. If you found this breakdown insightful, please like the video, share it with fellow chess lovers, and subscribe to the channel. Comment below.